Alright guys, welcome to my channel today. Today we are going to go over the differences between the two Mooncool Trikes. This is the MC350 over here, and this bike is an awesome bike. This is the TK1 over here. This bike is an awesome bike. So which one do you buy? This one is a heck of a lot cheaper than this one over here, but honestly, these are both cheap bikes. If you start looking around at these trikes, there's not a lot out there that are in this price range. There's a couple, but not a lot. So you know what I'm talking about. If you've been looking at these trikes, you basically, the next one up is going to be $2,000, $25,000, $3,000. So these things at the price point they're coming in, they're a great choice. So let's go over the differences. The big difference is this MC350 comes in a box with a bunch of pieces. This TK1 over here has very minimal to put together on it. They call this 95% assembled. This one over here, I don't know, 40% assembled. It's quite a bit of assembly to this bike. Took me 3 to 4 hours to put this thing together, and I know what I'm doing. This bike over here took me about 10 minutes to put together. It's basically, you got to put the front tire, the fender, the headlight, and the basket on the front. That's it, guys. So there's also some big differences what this bike has on it that this bike doesn't have on it. So we're going to go over that. This one's also a 7-speed. This one's a 1-speed. So if you want to deal with shifting, get this one. If you don't want to deal with shifting, get that one. But let's go over them, guys. Guys, let's go over some of the differences here in these two bikes. First thing is this MC350 has a 350 motor in it. It has a 36 volt battery versus this one. It has a 500 watt motor in it, and it has a 48 volt battery. So you're going to get more pep out of this bike than you are out of this bike. So if you got some hills to deal with, you might want to think about this bike, even though you're going to spend more money. This bike over here is very good money-wise, but it comes in a lot of pieces. This one over here, you basically got to put the front wheel on, you got to put the fender on, you got to put the basket on, you got to put the light on, and that's about it. This bike is ready to go. The baskets on it, speaking of baskets, nice solid. These are big heavy duty baskets on this thing. The baskets on this thing is, you know, it's a basket. The other thing is the fenders on this bike, they're on there, they're pretty solid. They don't shake as much as the ones on this bike. These things keep going as you're driving on the road. They're rattling all over the place. As far as taillights on this bike, you've got no taillights on this bike. I added this light here. It's a battery operated one that flashes just for a little bit of safety. This bike over here comes with brake lights, directionals, and running lights on this bike. You've also got a headlight on this bike. You got a headlight on this bike. But again, nothing in the rear other than reflectors on it. This bike is a 7-speed, so you got 7 speeds on it. This bike is a 1-speed. No speeds on this, but you don't have to deal with, you know, shifting it and stuff. So there's a plus there. But I'm going to tell you, when you get up above 10 miles an hour, those pedals, they're just going around. You're not really putting any effort into it. The other thing is this bike has a shock in the front. So it has a suspension shock, so you get a little bit of comfort there. These are 20-inch wheels with 3-inch tires on it, so you get some, you know, shock absorption in those tires. This one here, the tires are skinnier, so you're not going to get as much. This one here is rear-wheel drive, so the motor's in the back. It's a 500 watt motor, like I said, and this thing goes up hills no problem. So if you're looking at hills, you're probably going to want this bike. This bike here has a front-wheel drive, and it's only 350 watts. So this one here is going to struggle a little bit more up hills. You're going to have to put a little bit more into the pedals, but that's okay because you've got a 7-speed on it, so you can drop it down in the first gear to make up the difference on it. So, you know, again, great bike. I totally suggest buying this bike if you have a budget that you're trying to stay within, so long as you can get somebody to assemble this bike. Also has cable pull brakes on it, but who cares? They're not quite as good as the hydraulic brakes, but they're not bad. They need adjustment more often. That's the downside to it. This bike over here has hydraulic brakes, and they stop real well. So again, this is a better bike if you look at the standards on it than this bike is, but this bike is awesome. It looks great. I love the look of this bike. I love the color. I love the classic looking. This bike is also a good looking bike, but this has definitely got that modern, I was built to be a trike look. And this one looks like a classic bike. So when I go out on the two of these bikes, people love to come around and talk about them. They ask me all kinds of questions. So they're fun. I mean, if you're thinking about getting trike, definitely get a trike. Pick one of these trikes here. Again, if a budget's a problem, very good choice. If a budget is not a problem and you can spend some more money, get the TK1. So that's the difference, guys, in the two bikes. And I hope that helps with you making your decision on buying a bike. All right, guys, I hope that answered some of the questions on these two bikes. I want to put these two bikes together. I have in-depth videos on both these bikes. I've got it on this bike. I've also got the build on this bike. You're going to want to check them out if you're interested in one or the other. And that way there, you're going to know more about it. I've got rides on these bikes so you can see this thing in action. So make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe button while you're there. Also, in my comments and in the description of this video, I am going to leave links. I can save you $80 on this bike. I can save you $150 on this bike. Click on my link, put in, it's all capital letters, Gary 80 and Gary 150 on this bike. And you're going to get the discount on that. You're going to get the discount on this bike, but this one you're definitely going to save your $150 on, and you're going to save your $80 on this bike. So you want to hit those links. Guys, subscribe to my channel. I do a lot of content like this. And again, got individual reviews on both these bikes, so check them out. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.